heard the phrase, keep the earth green. What if you could keep the earth green through your screen? Hello, my name is Isabella Strauss, and with me today is Jack Scott, Catherine Che, Ryan Chang, and Anna Alvarez. Together, we are Triple R. A young mother wanted to make a nice pasta dinner for her family. She went to the store, bought the pasta, the sauce, and the vegetables. She went home and cooked her meal. After, she recycled the glass jar and the plastic grocery bag. However, those two recycling actions were incorrect. Her first error was the jar needed to be rinsed out. When items like jars are not rinsed out, the leftover particles are considered non-recyclable items, meaning that the batch of recycling is contaminated. It can no longer be recycled and ends up in landfills or the ocean. Her second error was the plastic grocery bag. They can't be broken down, causing them to get stuck in recycling machines and ultimately breaking them. It's a waste of time and money. Now, these might seem like small, insignificant mistakes. This puts our world at great risk. If we continue on our path, by the 2100s, the Earth's temperature will increase so much that it'll make major cities uninhabitable. We have exactly 7 years to reverse the damage we have done, and we believe recycling is that first step. If everyone just recycled one can, that could reduce greenhouse gas emissions equivalent to taking 6,750 passenger cars off the road. In today's world, people can find it difficult to recycle. And on top of that, the people who do usually recycle are doing it incorrectly. The children of this generation are our best bet in reversing the damage that we have done. But no kid wants to learn something as boring as recycling. Our solution? We are a mobile web app that enhances the recycling experience through gamification. The app consists of several mini games where the child follows our mascot Barnaby the Bin on his recycling journey. All they need to do is click into the app and start playing. You see, the more the child plays, the more comfortable they become with knowing what they can and cannot recycle, in turn, saving our planet.
Our product brings 3 unique value propositions to the table. Community. You got to see what the people around you are recycling, and you got to compete in a fun and friendly manner. Education. This app will give you and your family the recycling education needs that you can have to save our planet. And finally, coupons. We plan to incorporate a various amount of monetary benefits into our app that you can gain by leveling up through the app and through some competitions. Mainly the coupons, because we plan to get those through some mutually beneficial partnerships that we will have with local grocery stores around us. Now, to sell this, we need to go for our ideal customer. And that ideal customer is the mother that we mentioned earlier. She's 34 years old and lives in the suburbs of a major city. She has 2 children, aged 6 to 11, and she mainly shops at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's because she wants the best food that she can possibly get for her children and that has the best impact on the environment around them. One thing that she thinks about daily is, am I doing enough for my kids, and am I giving them exactly what they need to learn and grow? She will love our app because it applies to her fun and competitive nature. Her main social media platform is Facebook, which she uses a lot to communicate with friends and family. And she will love the educational aspect of our app, as it will give her children the needs that they can have to grow up in a better world. Now, all this criteria is a lot. We have a middle-aged mother and a middle-class family with 6 to 11-year-old children who regularly use coupons. And with all of that in mind, we found the U.S. Census Bureau database to have around 6,022,000 of these families in the United States. Then to find the actual dollar amount of our market, we simply multiply that by our price for our model, which is $3.99 a month, and then multiply that by 7 months, because we believe that is the perfect amount that a family would simply buy our model for a year. To find that total number you see there, 168 million. Now, as you can probably imagine, this recycling market is extremely competitive among entrepreneurs in this modern day. It's and our competitors reflect that. One of our direct competitors we plan to outshine is a company called Grow Recycle. They are a direct competitor because they are also in an app format that gives kids games so they can learn to recycle better. However, they differ from us in 2 different ways. They give the app to much younger children around the age of preschool, and we are more 6 to 11-year-old children, which is a broader and older age range, and they do not have the monetary benefits that we plan to incorporate. And some of the indirect competitors that we should also mention are iRecycle and Recycle Nation. These are indirect competitors because they are in an app format. However, they do not have any of the gamification that we have, and they simply rely on a boring database of items that can and cannot be recycled for the parents to use.
Moving on to marketing, we plan on going a few different routes. One way that we have already tested through use of a small MVP is advertising through Instagram and Facebook. Through this advertising, we've reached 9,000 plus people and gained and retained followers in that process. We have also been in a local magazine, South Barrington Life, which was distributed to all residents of South Barrington. This allowed our name to be more locally well known, and we plan on continuing advertising in news outlets such as this in the future. Back to social media, we aim on posting 1 to 2 times a week once we start up to keep our followers engaged and entertained, in turn, retaining them. When we start up, we also plan to expand our reach by continuing these forms of advertising at a larger scale, as well as partnering with organizations such as environmental conservations, park districts, and school systems, starting off at a local scale and then going bigger and broader as we advance. In doing this, we have a better chance of gaining and retaining more users because we'll have well-known and trusted organizations partnered with us. Parents will be more willing to have their kids start playing our games, and kids will have a higher chance of coming across them through school or other activities. As for how people will play our games, we will use direct channels being our official mobile web app and our company website. In doing this, we won't have to go through any middleman, and we will retain a higher number of customers when they go about the process of accessing our games.
Our app will consist of 2 versions. The first being a free version where the kids will have a select number of games to play from. The second will be a subscription where the parents can purchase this for their children, priced at $3.99 per month for 3 months. We got this through various methods, including solution interviews where we asked potential customers what they were willing to pay for a product like ours. For every 1 unit sold, we would be charged a fee of 48 cents. This comes from a credit card fee, which is 2% of the $3.99 we make from every 1 subscription sold. The other will be a 10% donation to charity that we will make to help try and fight the cause. For year 1, our revenue will be $13,441, but through SG&A expenses and taxes, our net income will come down to $4,108. We will gain this through our subscription-based model, and we'll gain and attract customers through platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and local newspapers. Over the next 5 years, we plan on increasing our revenue and net income. This is due to us marketing more through advertising, creating more partnerships with local park districts, schools, and environmental organizations, and introducing a stuffed animal collection with the inclusion of our mascot, Barnaby the Bin. With this, our year 5 projections are our revenue to be $147,808 and our net income to $60,142.
In this MVP, we were attempting to validate our customers' interest in playing our games, and if they were willing to pay the small price of $3.99 for our subscription page. And most importantly, if the children were entertained, engaged, and learning from our games. As a result, we got 287 visits to our landing page, as well as 28 emails, 6 of which had taken the time to play our games. Although only 6 of them got the time to play our games, we have attempted many methods to encourage others to play by promoting on social media, getting our article in the South Barrington magazine, as well as going door to door. However, for the people who play the games, they got to play 2 types of games. One which was like a test and another which resembled a video game. What we have learned is that the children's scores heavily improve as they continue playing. So this means that they were probably learning thanks to our games on how to recycle. Our capital ask, we're asking for $19,762, and we're willing to give 36% of our company for the new investors. We're using the $19,762 for accumulated loss, and that's $562. Liquidity cushion, and that's $3,000, and a startup cost, which is $16,200. In a startup cost, we have administrative costs, and that's $800, and that will be trademarks on company name, company logo, and game name. And also, we're using the $16,000 for development costs, and because we're planning on hiring a developer to create our web app, and that's $200. $200 also for marketing, and finally salaries and consulting fees, and that's $15,000. Our post-money valuation is $54,000, and this is based upon our pre-money valuation of $35,000 plus our capital ask of $19,000. And in 5 years, we're looking to sell the company to TerraCycle. And TerraCycle is an innovative recycling company that has become a global leader in recycling. And in 5 years, when we sell it to TerraCycle, we're going to have a money multiple of 4.6 times and internal rate of return of 42.9%, meaning that your capital of 19,000 in the first year is going to be approximately 90,000 in year 5. Thank you so much for your attention, and let's start the restart cycle.
All right, Triple R, thank you. Great job. Why don't we start the questioning here with, why don't we go with Nick Howard? Nick, why don't you start us off, please?
So I mean, as part of your ask that there's an app developer fee, is that part of the $15,000? Or is that something different?
The $200 is for to create the web app and to hire someone, and then the $15,000 that's for to create the mini games.
Oh, okay, so there's like a separate
Yeah,
service or company that does that?
yeah.
To add on, so just to clarify that, it's going to be $200 to initially hire a developer, and then to make the games that we would like, we found that the average cost was $15,000.
Okay. Okay, and then there was a screen up there where there was 28. There was like 260 emails sent out, and there was 28 people that downloaded the game or logged onto the game or somehow positively engaged with the game.
Oh no, we got 287 visits to the landing page.
Okay.
And then we got 20 emails, and only we sent the 28 emails, and only 6 of them play the games.
Okay. And were these emails out? Were these out to people that you didn't know?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just build on what Nick asked. I want to applaud you for executing that MVP and focusing your MVP, because from what I recall at MVP pitch time, there were a lot of components to this business. And I'm glad that you focused and channeled your energy so that it was a simpler business model to test. And if I'm understood that or heard the numbers correctly, while you had 287 visits, 28 emails, that represents roughly 10% of your visitors who took action leaving you all their email address. And then the 6 that played games, that's 21% of those folks actually continued on and engaged. So that is in a good direction. I'm going to ask a question that sounds like, why am I jumping to the end game? But in your exit strategy, you suggested you would sell to an innovative company like a TerraCycle. What do they do that makes them innovative and that would make them interested in your offering?
They help people to recycle like different items, like not like the regular ones. And I feel like they will want us because we're like a unique company of recycling, since we our users are going to be the children. So they probably want also children there. And we're going to bring them 3,000 subscribers.
Okay. The reason I ask this is I hope that they are an innovative recycler, because I'm all for it. It's just a little disconcerting, though, as news stories came about that the companies and the countries in which they are housed are no longer taking recycled or items to recycle, such as plastics, from developed countries like the United States. Because at least according to these articles, they in fact were not being recycled. They were just filling land far away from the United States. And those developing countries have basically said no more. Their earth is just as important as ours, and they're not taking it on. So I would like to know more about companies like a TerraCycle that's legitimately doing something with this, because I think it is important to not just continue to fill landfills. So back to my fellow judges.
I was just going to say, I thought it was a very strong presentation. I thought that the start was very attention grabbing. And I can tell you, it spoke to me. I was having a conversation with some adults who are parents probably a month or two ago. And we were just talking about recycling in general and just how many, the perception of recycling versus the reality of what is recyclable is totally, there's a total disconnect. And so, when you're kind of saying, to educate kids, I think it's almost like the kids can then educate the parents. It's almost like the game that they can play together, because that's, I would love for my kids to one up me on this, hey dad, do you think, whatever. So I really appreciated your business model. And my gut tells me there's something kind of there. The one question I had, and I think maybe you answered it, was sort of the gaming thing, because I think you're trying to make learning education or learning facts fun. And so my question was, what's going to keep the kids coming back? And so is the thought that you're going to have sort of a small number of games that are at least kind of the initial piece until you get that, I think the $15,000 or the $2,000. I guess my question is, how far is that gaming money going to take you? Is it going to be buying like a bulk of games that you're going to download, or is it going to be this kind of continual update where kids feel like they're going to different levels or getting different games?
So with the games, we're planning on, so like, as I said before, like with Barnaby the Bin, you're following him on his recycling journey. So the kid's going to progress through levels, but when it gets to a certain point, that's where the free version is, right? That's where the free version is. So the kids have access to those levels. Now, if you pay for the subscription, you have access to a blog, which is our community portion of our model, where after those like 10 levels, let's say, they have to post something to the blog saying, I recycled 3 cans, and then you get the next set of levels. And we'll also have competitions and leaderboards, so it keeps that competitive nature and interest.
So do you see this as sort of a, I guess with all games, you get to a point where the game's finished, right? Is it,
Yeah.
do you see this as sort of like, it's kind of, this is just really, this is like going to a class or you're just going to impart a certain amount of information to this family, and then hopefully they're going to take that knowledge and move it on? Or is this going to be a product that continues to develop over time? Maybe that's a packed question and you're not there yet.
It's a great question, Mike.
I mean, we're hoping to keep like developing it, but I mean, life is life, and we all have different things going on. So
sure. Well,
but I mean, that's our hope. That's our hope, to keep going with it and teaching kids different things they can recycle and get through those levels to make sure that when they get to a point of adulthood, they can start educating their kids on recycling properly.
To follow through Mike's question in terms of keeping the kids engaged to want to stay with it and come back, I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on the reward could be. What were you thinking in terms of what do the kids get if they accelerate their recycling to hit the next level and the next level?
That's a really good question. I can take that one. Well, it's pretty clear that the parents get something out of this. As you level up, you get more and more coupons for the local grocery stores around you, and the parents will love that. However, kids, we found, are a lot simpler. A lot of the games that we see for that are specifically targeted towards kids, they aren't giving them anything specific. Now, if you give them something more like a competitive nature where they see, oh, I'm getting better and better at this, or I'm better and better than my friends, and if they still can progress, then we believe that they can still have that whole, they can feel proud about it and still keep with that.
Okay. Think about, especially if this is something you want to continue, something tangible that kids can at least wrap their minds around, So even if it's a fictitious river in a fictitious town of any town USA with, we'll call it the Strauss River. Typically, the Strauss River takes on X pounds of garbage a year because people, their tossed cans, plastic, whatever, finds its way there. And if a student gets up to X pounds of recycling, you decide the unit. Those are fewer pounds that find its way into the Strauss River. It's just an example, because I think little ones, and who am I kidding, adults as well, we all kind of need mile markers to know that we are making progress.
Yeah, actually, the Ford Leaf, which was one of the earlier, one of their selling points was when they would have a little tree, and the more fuel efficiency that you're getting when you're driving, you get more leaves on the dashboard. So it was like this immediate reward for the driver of the car. And this is
That
Ford was
is
doing
great. Yep. Okay, guys, are you in it to win it? Or this was an interesting chapter in your academic experience?
I think this was a interesting chapter in our academic experience.
Okay, appreciate your candidness.
All right, thank you, Triple R, great job. Board, thank you for your questions and your comments.